My name is Brian Baker, and I am currently the treasurer for CFRI. I have been investing in real estate since 2009 with my wife, and just in the last couple of years, we've done over 18 deals. So we are in the business. We are active members with CFRI, and we appreciate all that CFRI has brought us. Today, I'm going to tell you about how to grow your profits, save your time, and do a lot more with Evernote plus IFT apps. IFTTT is pronounced IFT, and we'll get to that a little bit later as well. If you have any questions during this webinar, please put them in the chat window. I'll try to get them there. If I don't answer, you can always email me at techforrealty@gmail.com, and I will definitely get back to you. Also, if you email me at techforrealty@gmail, I will send you a link to these slides online on slideshare.com, so you can go through these slides yourself and take it at your own pace and learn what you can. And also, please feel free to connect with me at LinkedIn and BiggerPockets. Okay. Let's see. Yes, please bear with me. Again, this is my first time doing a live webinar in this fashion, so that I will have. This is a learning curve, but I'm getting better at it all the time. So we're going to jump right in once again. All right, so I'm going to start with my disclaimers here. I do regularly use Android, and most of my knowledge is based on that operating system. I do have Apple products in the house. You know, they're fine. They do great for what they're made for, and you can use Evernote and IFT on those products as well. No problem. I haven't gone through every possible aspect of these apps because they just evolve all the time. They're getting so much better every day that it's just so hard to keep up with everything that they're doing. So if you know more about the apps, or if you know better apps, please feel free to share it in the chat window, you know, so that we can all benefit from that knowledge. I do show a lot of factoids throughout this presentation, and those are coming mostly from Wikipedia, and I also sourced a lot of the graphics from Evernote and IF.com. I really love these sites, and by the time the presentation is done, I know you're going to love them too. So if you haven't already, please mute your microphones. There should be time for questions at the end. I'm not going to try to speed through, but I want to make sure that you know, that I stick around a little bit longer for you guys in case you do have questions. And of course, you can email me, and I can send you the link to the presentation. It's a private link, and you can look through it afterwards as well. And if there's anything going on with the presentation technically, or you know, from a technical aspect, please put it in the chat window so that I can keep track of what you guys are experiencing on your end. All right. So are you ready to do more, save more, and make more? I sure hope so, because today I'm going to teach you how to do that from the basic level all the way up to the advanced level, and I'm going to give you a bonus of a little bit of expert advice on how to use this property to remote control your properties. And that's something that a lot of people don't know, and it's going to put you on top of the rest. Let's start with the basics. Make and take your notes everywhere. All right, so it's time to learn about Evernote. A lot of you guys, I'm sure, have heard of Evernote. You're probably using it yourselves. At its basic, for those out there who haven't quite got into it yet, at its basic, it replaces the paper notepad. Okay, it started in 2008, and it's just been growing phenomenally since then. Especially in the last year or two, they've gotten a lot of new users and a lot of recognition. So, how do you access Evernote? For those who don't know, you can sign up with me at this link over here. Let me show right here. And what that'll do is you'll still be able to sign up for free, but it gives me some referral points with Evernote. That would be very helpful for me. But if you're not into that, you can go directly to Evernote and sign up with them for free as well. My link goes essentially straight to them, but to a referral page. I also would like you to at some point download the apps, both in Chrome and Android or Apple or whatever you're using. And you can also download a standalone version of Evernote on your, I think it might only be on the Windows machine, but you can do your notes offline and then add them online as needed when you have that standalone version. It's just an added benefit. So everybody's used paper notepads. I mean, you used them back in school. You know, I still use them occasionally, although a lot less now that I have Evernote. They're very limited, right? I mean, you can write down your notes. You can take as many notes as you want as long as you have the paper for them. And then you have to store them somewhere. So you're going to have piles of notepads. I think I have probably 20 on my bookshelf behind me, and I haven't touched them in probably a year or more. they just become cumbersome. Not only that, you may have other things in life that you want to record. You know, you might want to record photos and audio and files and web pages and emails. You can do all that with Evernote. You can plug it all into Evernote. You can take your notes. You can do handwriting, drawing, whatever you feel, and you can put it into Evernote, and it's stored for life in one central location. You can go back and make changes to your notes anytime you want. You can rearrange them. You can alter them. You can change them all from a different place or from different devices. That's not so easily done with a paper notepad. You can't, unless you did your notes in pencil, you know, which will still get messy. You go back, you scratch off a word, and you write a new one. It's just very difficult to change your old paper notes. So now you don't have to worry about that. You go into Evernote, you make your notes, you make your changes, and as soon as you put anything in Evernote, it's accessible to everyone that has access to your shared notebook immediately. So if I make a note and I wrote it on Chrome, for instance, and then I go over to my smartphone, I can see it immediately in my Evernote app. I can see that note that I just wrote in there just a few seconds ago. And if I'm sharing that notepad with a personal assistant or a virtual assistant across the world, they can see it within seconds also. Tell me how you're going to do that with a paper notepad. I don't think you can unless you take a fax and send it over. It might take a few minutes, but again, they can see everything immediately as you give them permission. So for those of you who haven't used Evernote, I'm going to show you just some basic examples. So, and those of you who are at the more advanced level, stick with me, because again, I'm going to go take it up all the way to the advanced and then the expert level for what you can do with these apps. So first we're going to create a simple notebook, and I should caveat this, you have to sign into Evernote first. You have to sign up for a free account. Again, I hope you sign up with me and give me some referral points. But you know, you get into your Evernote account, and you're going to see an area like this on Evernote. This is taken from Chrome. You'll see something similar, and there's going to be an area that says New Notebooks. You want to click on an arrow for New Notebook. Okay. Again, this is really basic. I want to make sure you guys understand it from the ground up to the top. You're going to create that new notebook. You're going to give it a name. Okay. And then once you save it, you're going to see it created down here. Now, what do you have in notebooks? Well, you can have anything, especially notes. So let's create your first note. Make sure that that notebook is highlighted right here in this column as the active notebook. Use this button, create a new note. You have to give it a title, and then you're going to enter some notes. And what's interesting is if you're on a tablet or a smartphone and you use a stylus, you know, one of those electric or static pens that you can write on the screen with, you can actually hand write the note, and it'll convert it to text for you and place it in your title. You can do the same thing with the notes section as well. Once you do that, you might want to check your note on your smartphone or on your other device, and you can see that it is immediately available wherever you are, whatever you're looking at, it is there. You simply have to open up the notebook and find the note. So now you guys all know the basics. We're going to take it to the next level. What else can we use Evernote for? Okay, so Evernote, the ability to share your notes with everyone, everywhere, is extremely powerful. To be able to change your notes, I mean, that's so much more than you can do with a paper notepad, that you're light years beyond the paper notepad now, okay? Now, the most powerful thing that you can do with Evernote is searching your old notes, okay? You can go in there and you can search anything for anything, and I'm going to show you a quick example in a minute about how to do that. But you know, think about it. If you have a stack of 20 notepads on your bookshelf and you took a class on how to deal with mobile homes last year, and you come across a mobile home deal out there today, and you're like, man, I really wish that I remembered how to deal with mobile homes. I took that class last year. Let me go look for that notepad. Well, how long is it going to take you to search through those 20 notepads before you find the one with the exact lesson that you're looking for that you wrote down? Probably a really long time. With Evernote, you can simply do a search for mobile home and find it immediately. That is powerful. Another cool thing that you can do with Evernote is presentation style. You can sit down with your Evernote open in front of your buyer or seller and work through the math on them like you would a piece of paper, okay, like on the back of an envelope or a napkin. You can share and show your numbers with them right there at the table. And then, if you have a stylus, or even if you want them to use their finger, you can capture their signature, and you have a written agreement. You go print it out. You give each person a copy or whatever you want to do, and there's a signed agreement to numbers that you just worked with your seller or buyer. That's pretty powerful. I'm going to take a quick drink real quick. Excuse me. Okay. So, how do you search your notes? Now, I know this is getting to be intermediate stuff, but you can do this. Okay. First, you go up to the search box. Then, you make sure that you're searching in the right notebook. If you have the current notebook open, which is the one we've just created in the previous example, you're going to want to X that and kill that so that you can search the entire stack of notebooks that you have in Evernote. By the way, Evernote does have its limits, which I don't think any of you are ever going to reach. It's something like 50,000 notebooks and 100,000 characters per notebook. I don't know if anybody's ever reached that. So type as many notes and make as many notebooks as you want. And then you can go and search them all. You enter in your search criteria. In this case, I entered action call. I don't know if you guys can actually read that or not. But what's cool is even though I typed it in here, it found it in my handwriting. This is all the search results that come up right here, okay, when you type in action call. And one of those happens to be my handwriting. I didn't tell it that this was the word action. It figured it out for itself. So not only is it searching through all my texts and all the other stuff I have, it's also searching through my handwriting, which is amazing. Think of how much time that saves you. Now you can go look for all that stuff you made before, all those classes that you've been to and everything, and go look up what you need quickly. Okay, but you know what? I really don't like handwriting all the time, and texting. I can get, my thumbs get a little cramped sometimes. I don't like texting paragraphs. It just becomes cumbersome. So enter IFTTT. IFTTT is a service that automates things over the web, okay, based on actions and triggers. It stands for if this, then that. You can see that down here in this factoid. And again, it's pronounced IFTTT, like lift without the L. And at its most basic, you're working with recipes, and I'll explain that in a moment as well. So for this intermediate portion of the presentation, I'm going to tell you how to access. I'm going to tell you that you need to access IFTTT at IFTTT.com, and then I would ask you to only download the Do apps at this moment. IFTTT does have one other app, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but it's the Do apps that are really good for the intermediate level. There's the Do button, the Do camera, and the Do notes, and you can find those in your app store. Do apps are basically for doing something with more or less a single touch. The Do button app is for automating tasks on your phone or on Chrome or your browser, whatever it might be. When I say Chrome, I'm generally talking about a web browser. That's what I use mostly. But any browser would work, Firefox or Internet Explorer. The Do button also, you can create notes with it. You can initiate actions, all with a single touch of a button. It's very powerful. Do camera is the same as Do button, except you're working with photographs. You can take a photograph with a single snapshot, and immediately it'll be sent off to your notepad. Or you can have it sent off to your email, or you can have it sent off to wherever you want it to go. And you can tag it with information such as where was it taken from, what time was it taken at. It's really powerful stuff. Do notes is very similar for notes. You enter a quick note, and you push the button, and it'll send it to a notepad, and it'll tag information to that note, such as where did that note come from, where were you geographically located, and what time was it when you made that note. How about you want to post that note to a calendar, maybe as a reminder, or for a to-do list. These are what these apps are for. They make it very, very easy. Before you can activate any of your Evernote, any of your IFTTT recipes for Evernote, you must activate your Evernote channel. So when you start and create your first Evernote recipe, which I'll show you how to do in a moment, it's going to ask you, do you want to activate this channel first? And of course you click on Activate. It's going to take you to a little screen that asks you to authorize IFTTT to access your Evernote account. and it tells you what it's going to do. It's not going to tear up your notepads. It's not going to go through all your contact lists or anything like that. It's pretty benign. And you simply say authorize. I think 1 year might be the max. I don't remember. But you authorize it, and voila, IFT has access to Evernote to send it notes and do other tasks. So that needs to be done first. By the way, I do want to draw attention to this factoid down here. The Internet of Things, I'm going to bring this up a little bit later towards the end of the presentation. But just so you keep in mind, the Internet of Things is the Internet that let me rephrase. It's the form of Internet that's coming about nowadays where you are hooking to appliances and sensors and other things at your house or at your job or wherever it might be, your car even, and controlling them from a distance remotely. So just keep the Internet of Things in your mind because it's definitely something that's hot these days, and I will be talking about it a little bit later. All right. So I'm gonna show you an example here of how to use the Do button app, and you're gonna use that to log your location time to your notes. Okay, we're gonna start from left to right. First, you want to open up that Do button, and it's gonna look something similar to this. This is my phone here. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to do a little search for Evernote. And when you type in Evernote, it's going to come up with all these possible recipes that you can do with the Do button. Okay, I'm looking for a track time at locations. I don't know if it's actually on this list here, but that's what I found, and that's what I'm using in this example. In fact, here's the title of it if you can see that. So you find the recipe. It's going to lead you to a page like this. You're going to scroll up if you're using your smartphone, and you're going to click on this blue field that says Show All Fields. You're going to click on that, and it's going to open up some other fields, and one of them is going to say Notebook. You have to specify what notebook you want your notes to go to. You don't want all your notes, for everything going into the same notebook, or you'll be as unorganized as you might be right now with paper notepads. You definitely don't want to do that. You want to try to keep them as organized as you can. You can have as many notebooks as you want. So make sure you give this notebook a good title. If you're tracking your time at locations, a good title for this might be Location Tracking Log, or Time at Locations. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything complicated. Once you enter that and you save that note, or you save that recipe, it's going to put a button on your screen when your Do button app is open. And all you do to run that recipe is just click right there on the elephant head, and your time at that location will now be tracked and sent to a notepad. Okay, you just help yourself out immensely when it comes to tax deduction time when you're trying to track your time on the job or at different houses. It's also good for tracking, how much time you're talking to clients, that sort of stuff. It's saving you money. It's making you money. Very similarly, we're going to use the Do camera. And we're at a house, we like what we see, and we want to remember that this photo came from this house. Okay, so we're going to find a recipe to do that. We're going to go to the Do camera app. It's going to look very similar when you open it up. You're going to search for Evernote, very similar, and you're going to find the recipe that says, what does this one say? Something like send a photo and a map to your notes. Very simple. I don't think I can read that on my screen, but that's what it says, something like that. Again, you're going to scroll up. You're going to click on that blue Show All Fields button. You're going to expand that, and you're going to make sure you put the proper notebook name in that field. Okay, maybe you want this going to the same notebook as your time at locations. Maybe you don't. It might be overwhelming to have that all in there. So you have that in there. You save your Do recipe, and then voila, it comes up with actually a smaller button. This white portion of the image that says Image at Location, that actually fades away and turns into your camera. So you can take a photo with it. You can actually see what you're taking a photo of. You push the green button to take the photo, and just like that, it's sent off to your notepad with a link with the actual photo in your notebook, plus a link or a map of the geographical location that you were at when you took the photo. That's powerful. That's something that you can show other people, where this photo came from, why it's important to you. Do buttons. The Do apps allow you to do a lot of things like that with a single tap. Here's just some more examples of the recipes that I'm currently using on my Do apps. Remember business cards, images at location, save receipts to Evernote. You know what? I am tired of having piles of receipts from everywhere. I'm going to put them in Evernote now. I'm already doing it. and I'm going to store them that way. And when I need to look them up, I can just go do a search. Do notes, save short notes on the fly. Remember restaurants that I ate at. I love to eat at Mexican food restaurants, but unfortunately, not all of them are that good. I want to remember the good ones. You can also add to your add a to-do to your checklist, so you keep a running list of all your tasks that need to be accomplished. And down here, I'm just not sure if you guys can read these, so I'm going through these right now. You can create a note logging a map image of your location. You can track your time, or I track my time at locations, and then I also create audio notes occasionally. If I find there's something interesting about a house, I might take a note and then send it to my notepad with the location that I took it at. So I know that that note came from that house. I was there. All right, so you guys are all now intermediate users. Congratulations. Let's move on. We're now becoming advanced users. Okay, and I'm going to show you how to create your own virtual assistant for free with Evernote+IFTTT. Okay, this is how you can delegate and automate a lot of things on the internet. So, what can we do? First, I'm going to have you download the If app. Excuse me for a moment, I need another drink. All right, so we're going to download the If app. Okay, and the If app is for running things in the background on your phone or on your browser. It's going to run your recipes every 15 minutes or faster. Okay, and so really what's happening is it's saying if this happens, then shoot it to Evernote. That's really what's going on. You can create your own recipes. Evernote or IFTTT is all about the recipes. Okay, but right now for this presentation, it's mostly Evernote recipes. You can create your own. You can use other people's, and then you can automatically log your events to different notebooks. You can track things. You can create reminders. You can even get the latest deals sent to you, and you can do other cool things like have automated searches of Craigslist for what you're looking for sent to your Evernote notepad, so you can go through today's latest deals on Craigslist. It does that automatically, and that's what I'm going to show you how to do in a moment. First, though, let me show you how to find recipes that other people have made. It's pretty easy. You go to browse in IFTTT.com or on your If app, and you type in Evernote. And as you see here, it came up with over 9,000 recipes. I mean, this IFTTT is really, really popular, as is Evernote. A lot of people are using it. A lot of people are making their own recipes. And a lot of people publish recipes for other people to use. And that's what you see here is it's going to be a list of recipes that are available for both the If app and the Do app apps. Right now we're concentrating on If. So I scrolled down and I found one that said, if I receive an email receipt, then send it to Evernote. Okay, so I open that up. I make sure I check the notebook field again to make sure it's going to the right field. And then I activate that recipe, and voila, I have a receipts notebook in Evernote. It actually IFTTT created it for me. It created a new notebook, and I have receipts going into that notebook. All because somebody out there was generous enough to create a recipe and publish it for everyone to use. And by the way, you can see how well liked the recipes are used and how many other people have downloaded them right here. Now I like to get a little more. Oh, by the way, IFTTT has over 180 channels. Evernote is a channel of IFTTT. So is Gmail, so is Twitter, so is all these things. So you can make recipes for each of these channels. Right, so moving on. So here's how we're going to create our own first virtual assistant, free virtual assistant. Okay, because you signed up for IFTTT and you signed up for Evernote, and they were both free when you signed up. And now you can create a recipe that's going to help you delegate the searching for property links on Craigslist to your phone. Your phone becomes, or even your browser, becomes your VA. Okay, first you go to the, let me see, you're going to sign into IFTTT, and you're going to find the button Create a Recipe. Okay, when you touch that, it's going to say, well, if this, then that. You click on this, okay, because we're going to create this trigger. This trigger is going to be Craigslist. You type it in the search box, the Craigslist channel comes up, you click on it, that leads to this right here. Different triggers have, might have more than one action that they can perform. Craigslist has this one action only, and this action is to save new posts from search. Okay, it's going to trigger on every time it does a search in Craigslist for you, which will be roughly every 15 minutes. It's going to trigger on that, and then you're going to have it send it to you in Evernote. So you have to give it the URL. So what this means is when I click on this and it comes to this right here, it says search results URL. By going to Craigslist and going to, I think it was either Lakeland or Orlando, and doing a search for single family homes or handyman special, it was something like that. And at the top of the web browser, there's the website address that pops up from that search. I copied that. I pasted it in here. Okay, and I created a trigger based on that. Okay, so I say create trigger. Okay, so that portion's done. If Craigslist trigger for handyman specials, then that. Let's go to our next page here. Then that. All right, so we click on that, and we're going to delegate posting these leads from Craigslist to your notebook for follow-up. Click on that. It's going to ask you, well, what action channel do you want to use? Because there's the trigger, which is this, and then there's the action, which is that. Okay, I typed in Evernote. You click on the Evernote icon, and this one has multiple actions that you can do, unlike Craigslist. And I say, well, I'd like to append this to a note that I have, or that I'm going to create. Not a note, but a, well, yeah, it could be a note or a notepad that I'm going to create for Craigslist searches. So I touch this button right here, and then I make sure I have the proper notebook name, because I don't want it to go in my mileage logs. That wouldn't make sense. Say create action, and over here it says, okay, if Craigslist search results for handyman special come up, then I'm going to send them to the Evernote notepad called Craigslist results, which I named down here, and this is going to be the name of that recipe, and all I have to do is touch this here and create the recipe, and voila, I have a virtual assistant working overtime for me at all hours of the day to produce Craigslist results and send them to my notepad. So here are a few other things that you can do with IFTTT and Evernote in terms of having a VA. You know, you might want your new VA to log phone calls. Well, in this case, log texts that come in or texts that you send. You know, maybe you're conversing with the seller again, and you want to track, you know, the contact that you have. But you don't want to fill up your text box or your memory on your texts. So you send it to Evernote instead. Fill that up instead. Okay, and then you can go and search it easily anytime you want for life. And you can also, you know, have it shared with people. I also have my my Wi-Fi connections logged. So you know, if I walk into a Starbucks or I walk into my house, I know when I walked into that location. I know when I logged into that location. It's just another way to track what I was doing at what times of day. And then I also have my phone calls tracked. I have calls that I've made, missed, and placed, all tracked and put into separate notebooks, so that I know if I missed a seller's call, you know, I can go and find when he made the call. Or if he says, hey, I called you on such and such date, you know, and maybe my phone log got wiped out or something, I can go back into Evernote and find when that guy actually made a call, if he did, because you know they're not always truthful. So we can go back and do a search for that. The other thing that we can do is, there's tons of stuff you can do. These are just the ones that I'm using right now. Another thing I'll probably be using pretty soon is called If Automatic, then Evernote. Okay, and Automatic is a plugin for your car that tracks your mileage and your gas consumption, all that kind of stuff. You can get it to send your mileage directly to Evernote for you. So instead of you tracking mileage for your vehicle for tax deductions, have IFTTT and Evernote do it for you. You know, save time, save money. Okay. Congratulations, you're all advanced. Now here's the bonus round. You guys get to become experts because you're with me. Well, not really, but you get to become experts, which is cool. All right. So what you'll need if you want to have a property remote control. Okay, and this is just going to be a basic breakdown. It's just a bonus round. You're going to need basic cable internet service provided to the property. Okay, because you need to be able to get communications there. And then you want to purchase some hardware, you know, things that are hooked to the quote Internet of Things. And there's a lot of brands out there now that are coming about. The most popular, or the most famous right now is Nest. That was recently bought by Google. They're now owned by Google, and they have learning appliances. They learn your habits and optimize for energy savings. But these other brands are fine too. And then you want to purchase the hardware that's according to your needs. You'll need a Wi-Fi router or hub to be able to communicate with these devices. You can buy light bulbs that you can turn on and off remotely, light switches, alarm systems, cameras. The Nest has a learning thermostat, as well as other learning devices, detectors, even wall outlets. You know, if you want to turn on your charger before you get home, like your phone charger, you can do that remotely and then have it, you know, have your, maybe not your phone charger, but maybe your, I don't know, your charger for some appliance working before you even get home. You have it there ready to go. Or if you're working on a property, here's a good idea. If you have a property that you have a realtor going to, okay, then you could turn on that wall outlet and maybe it blinks a lamp that kind of indicates, hey, realtor, bring your card over here, or come pick up this card or this information that I have for you. So maybe it's just something that you could, you know, blink on and off as an advertisement to come over here. All kinds of ideas. There may be a monthly fee with some of these things. I haven't used a whole lot of them yet. And again, it's all about the recipes that are available on IFTTT, the channels, and your imagination. I mean, really, you can do a ton of stuff. You can unlock doors, you can turn on lights at specific times, you can monitor for motion. I mean, you can set all these things up. You can have what they call a smart home for, you know, less than a quarter of the cost. And you know, you can even have realtors, like I have this example here, have realtors show their card to a camera for instant capture. I mean, you can have some direction, you know, to a realtor. Hey, when you get there, put your card up in front of this camera, and I'm going to take a snapshot of it, so I have your information. You don't even have to send it to me. I know who you are already. You can have a scanner there right on the spot, so that, you know, if they want to make an offer right then and there, scan it to me. You know, I'm over in Miami, and the house is in Orlando. Scan it to me. You know, I'll get it. Everything can be done remotely. You can even buy Bluetooth devices now that when a person drives by the house or walks near a house, it gives them extra information about the property. There's several regions of the U.S. and abroad where they are testing these out right now, where you drive through a neighborhood and much like you're on Zillow and you see property information, these things, you have an app and it just pops up on your phone. This house is for sale and here's what the stats are. You can do that sort of thing all remotely as well. And then you know what? Your buyer is also going to be really impressed by that. You know, if you put a little bit of that extra money in there, they're going to be really impressed by that. Why not sell all that? Why not sell all that capability to them at a premium? You know, and make money off it while you're at it. You know, and the realtors might be pretty impressed by it as well. All for a few $100. So, congratulations, you guys are now experts in IFTTT and Evernote. Okay, you went from newbie to expert in a single day. You guys are awesome. Okay, now you can do more, save more, and make more with these two apps. Today you learned how to do the basics, you know, how to take your notes and bring them everywhere. You learned how to take it to the next level with aggressive automation. You just tap of a button, done. You learned how to implement passive automation with a virtual assistant. It's done for you. You don't even have to think about it. No pushing a button. And you became experts when you learned how to remote control your property from around the world. You've just become one of the most tech-savvy investors in all of Central Florida. There are not many people that know how to do this, unfortunately, and now you know. So I congratulate you. So I imagine there are probably some questions out there, and you can feel free to put those in the chat window. You're welcome. Thank you. Feel free to put your questions in the chat window, or you can definitely email me at this email here, techforrealty@gmail.com. Email me if you want a link to these slides on the internet. That way you can go through them at your own pace and follow along. Otherwise, the floor is open to questions. You can buy remote devices at places like Home Depot, Lowe's. You can buy them on Amazon.com. You can go direct to the manufacturer of them, such as Nest.com, I believe, and you can find out what they're capable of. I know Home Depot has a whole usually has a whole stand dedicated to remote devices. Thank you, Brandon. I appreciate that. Again, thanks guys for hanging on. I know the technical difficulties are annoying to say the least. I had to scramble for a minute there, but I really appreciate you guys hanging out and waiting up for me. Other than practice, I would recommend simply going on Google and typing IFT plus or IFT and Evernote and see what comes up. I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there, a lot of YouTube videos that you could go through. People are coming up with amazing ideas for how to use these tools. But I'm the kind of person that likes to get in there and start playing with some of these channels and seeing what's possible. I really recommend that you look at YouTube, but also really dig into what's available on IFT and see what it's capable of. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, IFT is an amazing website. It's been around for a few years now, but it's just really blown up in the last year or two. It's really become very popular. I have not tried the mileage tracking with that automatic device yet. The device is $100, and I just need to go out and get it. And then, and I'm not too far away from doing that. I do track my mileage with Google Maps right now, and with the notes that I take at locations, I know where I've been, where I've gone to, and I can calculate the mileage from Google Maps or Google Earth and get it that way. IFT is compatible with a lot of things. Google Drive is definitely among them. There are 180 channels on IFT, and Gmail, Google Drive, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, you name it, it's all available on IFT, and you can do actions, a different set of actions with each one of those, whether you're using it as a trigger or an action, a this or a that. Do I offer consulting? I am interested in consulting, although I'm not quite sure what you mean, Tom. What kind of consulting are you looking for? I can definitely, oh yes, I can definitely offer consulting on IFT and getting a home set up for remote control, that sort of thing, creating recipes. Get with me by email at the techforrealty@gmail.com with things that you want specific consulting for, and I can definitely get back to you on that, see what we can do. I'd love to help people, so if you need help, I'll definitely do my best to help you out. A lot of these tools, they seem so hard at first. People talk about, oh, I'm using this app or that app, and you think, wow, you got to be a real expert to do these things. Well, not really. A lot of these tools are made for simple use, for the end user, and you just got to get into them and try them out. Oh, remote control home. Well, I don't have an example of that right now. Nothing on the table right now. But that's a great comment. We should get a field trip together for a smart home of some sort, remote control home. I think that'd be really good. I'll put that on my list. When I go to the next board meeting, I'll bring that up. You're welcome. I have not seen a channel for MLS. MLS is kind of a slow mover. It's a big beast. But I wouldn't think that they're too far off from getting there. Yeah, I don't know what else there's to say about that other than I hope they figure it out pretty soon. Otherwise, they're going to get left behind. Now, what you can do though, in terms of or in regards to MLS, if you use the imagination a little bit, you could, I suppose, send yourself auto emails and have triggers based on those emails. In Gmail, for instance, if you have an email that has a specific subject title, like, saved email from, like an email from, I don't know, maybe it has realtor in the title or something. You could have IFT do a trigger on that and send it to Evernote so that you can keep track of leads and that sort of thing. So if you have maybe if you employ a realtor, or if you are a realtor, you can track specific properties in specific notepads or books. I think yes, I believe the presentation audio is recorded in YouTube. This is my first time doing it this way, so email me, and whoever's emailed me, I will send a copy of both the presentation slides and a link to the YouTube video if it's available. I think it will be. And hopefully it got all my audio, because if not, oh well. So we got about 3 more minutes. Does anybody else have any questions? Thanks, Denny. All right. Well, it looks like there's no more questions out there. I would like to. You're welcome, Tom. I would like to ask one thing. I'll probably do it by email as well. Is what else are you guys interested in seeing in terms of technology? I can offer some other webinars, such as creating your own PDF forms, that sort of thing. Online advertising, you name it. Try me out, and we'll see what we can come up with. Search engine optimization, there's a good one. Yep, we can definitely do that. That's going on the list. You're welcome, Jonathan. You're welcome, Nick. Yeah, PPC, pay-per-click marketing. That's a hot topic these days. We can definitely have a webinar on that. How about Google Ads and Facebook marketing? We can do a webinar on that as well. I'll put that on the list. I'll put that on my Evernote list. There we go. All right. Well, I think we're down to it. Thank you so much, everybody, for being on the presentation. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you at the next journal meeting. Have a great day. Bye.